Hi, I'm Mary Jo. I've been a nurse for 51 years. I have lost over 100 pounds as a postmenopausal woman and reversed chronic disease in my world. I am here today to discuss with you how this wonderful miracle has occurred in my life. And basically, it's based on the science of nutrition. So, I got to wondering about a variety of different topics: fiber, micronutrients, phytochemicals, carotenoids, fat soluble vitamins, minerals, macronutrients, micronutrients. I finally decided, well, what am I really dithering about? I'm looking at what is real food. What is that when you imbibe in it causes you energy, happiness, joy, productivity, excitement, ready for action. Have you ever felt that way? When I eat just the right amount of food that has a high nutrient quality, I sometimes will feel on top of the earth and can hardly wait to get to my next exercise class. In fact, today I went to an Orange Theory 3G exercise class, and I had 15 minutes on the treadmill and then 14-minute row. Yay, go team. I really enjoy rowing. I'm not necessarily good at it. I did about 2,600 meters in 14 minutes, and I think I've done better than that in the past. And the gentleman to my left did 3,600, so I have room for improvement. But oh, it's so exhilarating. And then after that, we did weightlifting on the floor. So it was a very all-inclusive exercise plan, and I loved every minute of it. I came away from there exhilarated and ready to climb the next mountain. And that all comes from eating just the right volume of high nutrient food. So the question becomes, what really is food? Because if you think anything in the grocery store in the food aisle is food, I would disagree with that. I think a lot of our food is non-food. Our junk food is just that. It doesn't help us feel good. It literally, but it takes time, slowly helps the human body deteriorate. At one point in time in my life, quite a number of years ago, I just thought, my body's letting me down. All I do is gain weight. Well, I'm finally getting it. My body never let me down. It kept trying to rebalance and keep me as healthy as possible and under very trying and unhealthy non-nutrient conditions. And I'm just now currently amazed. I would go to a party, and as I got healthier and understood what is real food, I might bring something that I could share with other people. But for a period of time, I used this as a reason to cheat. There's a bag of chips. There's a bag of chocolate chip cookies. There's a dessert with cream sugar and butter and cheese all over it. And I would take a taste of this and a taste of that. And then, you know what? I didn't feel very good. Isn't that, do you ever experience that? And then the next day, I'm like, oh my God, I feel awful. And I thought to myself, well, when I ate crap all the time, I never felt this bad. And then it hit me. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that I felt that bad because I never felt good. And now I feel so extremely wonderful, vital, ready to run around and do the next fun thing in life, that it is fabulous. And unfortunately, I cannot say the same for many people the same age as me. In fact, somebody made mention, be careful because growing old is awful. I was the same age as this person, and I'm like, I understand because I was growing old fast. Then I found this beautiful new eating style and I feel wonderful. Now, so how do you encapsulate that? What is real food? Well, there are foods out there and they all contain macronutrients, which is carbohydrate, protein, and fats. That's just life. And that's the caloric portion of the food you eat. Now, there's another macronutrient, and it's called water. It has no caloric load. So enjoy a lovely glass of pure, clean water. All right. Then there are micronutrients. Now, micronutrients are vitamins, minerals, and there's all these phytonutrients or microchemicals or whatever you want to call them. And some we started to label, like carotenoids and flavonoids. But there are a plethora of ingredients in whole real food that provides dynamic capability and resilience to the human form. And we don't even know what half of them are. That is for sure. However, they are there. So how do you know? What food do you imbibe in? And I think that there are several qualities that a food should contain. Now, they're all going to have a certain amount of macronutrients, and that's just absolutely fine. In fact, when my students would talk to me about eating patterns, it's all they could talk about. But I guess that's really what is primarily out there in terms of recommendations. How many carbs, how many fats, how many proteins, blah, 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 blah. And I would tell them, I just can't wrap my head around that, especially as you describe it to me, because I think it's so important now that I feel this good, now that I've lost all this weight, now that I've cured myself, it is so important to me to eat foods which are filled with micronutrients. And how do you know if you're getting micronutrient dense food? And a part of what is that type of food is it should contain significant quantities of fiber in it. And I always love how Dr. Michael Greger helps one identify, like for whole grains. There's nothing wrong with whole grains, but you don't want processed grains because that has a very high glycemic impact, and white bread is like eating sugar. If white bread is like eating sugar, it causes this insulin high and encourages atherosclerosis, been there, done that, visceral fat, yuck, increased diabetes, increased risk for cancer, angiogenesis all over the place. I do not need any of that. So I always, if white bread does everything that sugar does, I should just eat the candy bar. Except now I don't even like the candy bar, so I won't be eating it anytime soon. But that's okay. So the bottom line is fiber is a phytonutrient that is very significant to the type of food we're eating. Fiber and water, and probably primarily fiber, is what allows us to eat a food and have very slow absorption of nutrients, producing a very slow physiologic level insulin IGF-1 load without all these peaks and valleys that make us feel terrible, but rather this nice low ability and these nutrients entering slowly. So much can be used in the liver to produce glycogen, so much can now be used for energy production, so much can be used for cellular replication and healing, and instead of putting the body into a state of craziness and pretty much increasing fat and disease opportunity and inflammation. So you want this ability to absorb nutrients slowly. Now, foods without fiber, it's like hit the pan, boom, bang, there you go. You're now filled with glucose, you're filled with amino acids, you're filled with fatty acids, and your body's overwhelmed. The insulin is going up and down, so is the IGF-1. You're developing inflammation, atherosclerosis, increased cancer risk. You're getting fatter and fatter and fatter, especially where it is not desired viscerally. Yuck. And invading your organs of your body. Good gravy, this is a terrible picture. So you want fiber in your food. And therefore, what's really food? Well, what's really food with fiber and micronutrients? We're talking vegetables, many different types and kinds, diversity, eat a diversity. Legumes are great to ascertain adequate protein if you're worried about that. Once again, they can cause some people GI upset, so you always start very slowly and then increase the amount that you eat. Fruit's awesome. Now, when you consider greens and cruciferous vegetables and onions, garlic, and that category, and legumes and mushrooms, these foods in particular develop a very healthy symbiotic microbiome of the GI gut. I mean, there's so many bacteria in the GI gut, you might as well move out your DNA because your bacteria is taking over. Here's the deal. Our gut bacteria can keep us healthy or make us sick. If we eat junk food, Dr. Furman says you get junk food bacteria. If you eat a high content of sugar, you will develop a bacterial content that demands more sugar. More sugar means more inflammation, means more disease. If you eat a high nutrient plant-based diet, you're going to develop a microbiome that's highly symbiotic, that will influence your brain to eat healthily, that will use resistant starch from legumes to increase butyrate production, preventing cancer, and also signaling the brain that you're satisfied and you can stop eating now. That's all to me absolutely wonderful, because I don't think my apostat ever got turned off after age 15 until more recently, unfortunately. Isn't that sad? So that a healthy microbiome, which all it takes is healthy eating. I do not believe you have to take all these pills and things to achieve it. You just need to eat really high quality plant-based foods, and you'll get the development of a bacterial content that will literally teach your immune cells. 75% of your immune system is in your gut, and they will teach your immune systems how to keep you safe. Isn't that lovely? They will aid in the digestion of food. They will produce a biofilm over the microvilli so that the cells in the small intestine stay tightly adherent to each other. It's when cells lose what's called a tight junction and they begin to separate from each other that you develop leaky gut. Now, when leaky gut happens, another unfortunate experience is that because nutrients, particularly glucose and amino acids and fatty acids, are actively transported into the body through cells. In this case, we've got particularly amino acids grouped together in polypeptides because they're not all the way digested, sneaking through what should be a tight junction, but sneaking through that hole and going right into the bloodstream in this larger form. And oftentimes these amino acid combinations mimic a part of the human body. And your immune system goes, what the heck is this thing? This must be foreign. I create an antibody to attack it. Now we're talking autoimmune disease, which is very painful and very unhappy, and can be corrected with appropriate nutrition for the most part and in most situations. So anyway, what is real food? It's that which contains fiber and that which contains micronutrients. So you're looking into that. You're talking vegetables, you're talking fruit, you're talking nuts and seeds, you're talking legumes, and yes, there's nothing wrong with intact grains. I find that if I eat too many of that type of food product, I start to gain weight. So that's something that I've chosen to limit. I also, with my metabolism and physiologic needs, love nuts and seeds. But I cannot substitute my chip and cookie fascination for a nut fascination because once again, I gain weight. I don't feel as good as I can. I'll tell you what, once you've experienced feeling on top of the world, so full of exhilaration and ready to go for the next thing, you just don't want to settle for anything less than that. People say to me, okay, so I get it. You eat vegetables, legumes, fruit, some nuts and seeds, maybe some whole intact grains. Yes, and don't worry, I get plenty of dessert. Probably get too much, but I love to combine cold frozen fruits and sometimes just eat them. You know, slightly defrosted. They're just delicious. Sometimes I like to create a berry bowl for in the evening. It just kind of depends, and I always love taking frozen fruit and making it into a cream or a sorbet. I just think that is way fun and it tastes so much better than ice cream today than it did. I mean, it tastes great. So I don't know why I'd ever want to go back to the other way of eating, which made me feel not so good. Now, here's the deal. What is health and well-being based on? Well, it's based on the lifetime nutrient experience, lifetime exercise, lifetime sleep capability, lifetime happy positive relationships, lifetime stress management. You know, right now I just almost always feel so happy and good and excited about life. And I'm 72. I cannot say that's how I felt about life when I was 24. Isn't that sad? I feel like, wow, I wasted a lot of time feeling miserable. That's just craziness. Which is part of the reason for this YouTube broadcast, is that I just love my life as it is now. And it's all based on good lifestyle habits. And if there's anything I can say or do that would help you, it's just so important to me. However, this should be all based on you and what's important to you. So in my world, you know, there are people that go high nutrient plant-based and will end up with a heart problem, will end up with a cancer diagnosis. And you say, well, how is that possible? I thought this was supposed to stop all that. Could end up with the flu, like I did. Well, I'll tell you what, I can eat really good, beautiful food and not sleep for 3 nights. That's like you're letting your brain take over with some sort of stressful notion. You're not sleeping, and when I stop sleeping, I get sick. It's all of this. It's all of this together. It's possible, since it's a lifetime exposure to good healthy habits, that helps create a health destiny. I think after 60 years of poor habits, I think it's really important that every moment I have now is filled with the best possible ways of living my life with joy and love in my heart. And for me, that means a high nutrient plant-based diet. My favorite is Dr. Joel Fuhrman's Nutritarian way of eating. I think it's terrific and wonderful. But I don't see the need for cheat days. Why would I mean, occasionally, let's say we're at a wedding, I've asked my daughter, can I have a bite of your cake? And you know, it doesn't taste very good. I much rather make my own little treat rather than eat that cake full of junk. And so I find that I love this excitement and change in how my taste buds react to life. So, in my world, I think it's really, really important that every time I sit down to eat, that it should be a whole high nutrient type real food that allows the human body to thrive. And I don't have wiggle room unless I want a bad diagnosis coming up, because my poor body's been through the rack for 60 years before I woke up. And so, which may not be true for you. So what is real food? It is that which contains micronutrients, that contains fiber, and most often also contains water. Though things like dried fruits contain the fiber but do not contain the water, they're okay. They could, for some people, encourage too high a caloric load. So it's something that people would have to modulate appropriate for their caloric needs, which is the same with the whole grains and the nuts and seeds. Most of the other foods you can just eat till cows go home, and you will just get better and better and better. But once again, I will stipulate that when you find not only this beautiful plate of colorful, nutritious foods with micronutrients and fiber, then it's amazing when you figure out exactly what the right amount is. You just, every day, you just feel better, better, happier, happier, happier. And it's just wonderful. So I hope that this has helped you sort through some of the ideas out on the web and some of the confusion in the grocery store. The fact that it comes from a grocery store does not necessarily mean it's real food. So here's to you. And please, whatever you do, take the time to take best care of you, because you are so important to the rest of us. With love and appreciation in my heart for you, and great thanksgiving for your listening to these broadcasts, I so thank you. Take best care and have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful what? Have a wonderful day. Oh, God bless, and goodbye from Nurse Mary Jo. See you later.